Today's surprise Zachary face is none other than Stranger Things.
Hey guys, it's Woody here, Orwell, and welcome to another Fright Night. And tonight we are tackling Stranger Things Season 2. Now boy, where do I start? Well, we'll start by saying spoilers ahead. Definitely. This season, it was just, wow. It was a great follow-up to Season 1. Season 1, they planted the plot, here's the place, here's the people, here's the time, 1983 Hawkins, Indiana, and then we get a year later, basically. It was just so awesome to see everybody come back, and not only did they bring everything to a much larger scale, but they brought relationships and character development on a larger scale. They had some awesome action. It was top notch, even bigger than last season. But this season, they did that and more character development. First, let's start by talking about just backstories. We dug deep into Eleven's backstory. This was awesome, I thought, how each character, or not each character, but there were kind of different groups throughout the season. So it was basically Steve and Nancy were still together at the beginning of the season, and then they broke up, and it was the boys, Mike, Lucas, Dustin, and Will. And then, Will goes crazy again, and so they're all like, ah. So there's the boys, and then there's Joyce and Bob, who I really loved, and I was really sad to see him go. I'm sad to see any character go, pretty much, but I don't know, something stuck with me with that character, and seeing his death was really horrible. It was hard to watch, just because I connected with that character somehow, and I really liked him. At first, the first few episodes, I wasn't sure, is he going to be a villain or not? And then, I couldn't really tell if he was going to be evil or not, but then they just kind of ruled that whole theory out when he took one for the team in episode 8. But anyway, you had Jonathan and Nancy. They went off and did their own investigating. And you had Hopper and Eleven, and that was really cool. The father-daughter relationship between them, I think, was awesome. And the way that they explained how Eleven got out, all the little flashbacks they did this season were awesome. Explained, it was telling two different stories at a time. It wasn't just, saying showing everything in chronological order. It was, going on with Eleven's story in the present, but at the same time, you would get little flashbacks. You'd go forward and back, and it would show just kind of how Eleven got out of the Upside Down after defeating the Demogorgon. She eventually got back after this crazy, journey through the wilderness and all that. But anyway, at the end, I was really happy to see Hopper being a legal father to Eleven. You get kind of the fatherly story, kind of, her real father, Papa, as she always said, not a good father, obviously, but we found out all about her mother, and all that crazy stuff that they went through, and it's cool. We explored every aspect of her backstory, even her long-lost sister that she didn't even know she had. Just crazy. And as she found, more powers that she could use, she was able to dive into her backstory more. And it was awesome because she was separated from the group up until episode 8. And so finally seeing them come together, especially Mike and Eleven, it was awesome. I love it. And another thing I loved this season was the romantic stories. We had Max who, at the beginning it was an uphill battle. You could definitely feel that tension between Lucas and Max, and early on in the series I was rooting for them too. Anyway, you had them, they kind of came together at the end at the snowball with the kiss, and then Mike and 11 got another kiss. Nancy and Jonathan, which their relationship kind of got teased at the end of season 1 when they started working together, but now they're together. It's like everybody's together, and they balance the action and the plot line with this unraveling mystery about Will and him being connected to this crazy tunnel and this being and this secret, just this crazy thing going on under Hawkins. I mean, wow. And then Billy, he was an interesting character. He was just kind of there to cause trouble, and most of the episodes it was kind of just teasing, like, oh, you better not mess with him. And then it finally kind of coming after some tension earlier on in the series, finally coming full circle with the big fight in the Byers' house between Steve and Billy, and that was pretty brutal. But ultimately in the end of the season, Billy was just there, just kind of sitting there like whatever. One thing, Steve, I love Steve. So I was watching this they have this cool little after the show type thing with the Stranger Things cast, where they basically just talk about the show and discuss all these different parts of it. But they're talking about how Steve in the beginning of Stranger Things season 1 was kind of in Billy's place, not a likable character, and he's evolved so much, and so Billy has taken the place of that, and Steve really became an admirable, loving, caring role model in this season. He and Dustin had a really cool relationship that they kind of built up this season, and I really enjoyed seeing their brotherhood, and I liked seeing Steve lead in the pack of kids for a little while there, and wow, just such a great season. I could go on and on, but yeah, 11, just such a great season for 11. I mean, when I think of character development, 11 in season 2 is the biggest example of character development I can think of right now. I mean, she evolved so much. It was awesome. I loved it. She talked so much more this season. It was just, I'm rooting for 11. I love 11. But the way it ended, of course, there was a cliffhanger. Flips over into the upside down, and you see this big monster, kind of how what was teased on and on, kind of throughout the series, sort of in the beginning and in the trailer. For season 2, we saw that big thing in the sky. I guess we'll be seeing that guy in season 3, and we will be definitely getting a season 3 because, come on, don't get me wrong, there's nobody that hates Stranger Things. Stranger Things is an awesome show. This is my Halloween costume last year. The Wall. Great season, guys. Let me know your thoughts below. I hope you enjoyed this Fright Night video. And as always, stay scary.